Hey ladies, happy Wednesday. I hope your day is going great. Today's Fix Your Form. It's a little different because I'm not going to target one exercise specifically. I had a fantastic question this morning, and because it's Wednesday and I do Fix Your Form on Wednesday, I thought, what better time to do it today or answer this question by showing you instead of typing it out or just verbally trying to explain it. And this client wants to specifically work on just isolating her glutes a lot more. If you've been with me for quite some time, you've heard me say in Fix Your Forms that glutes can be a hard muscle to recruit. Most of us as women, we are very strong in our lower body, but a lot of us are quad dominant. It just takes over. That's for me. Definitely quad dominant. I really have to warm up with intention and focus on range of motion and focus on mind-muscle connection if I want to get my glutes to fire up. Because my quads, the front of your legs or front of my legs, and my hamstrings are pretty darn strong and they just tend to take over. And that's the case for a good majority of women. So which exercises target which muscle group? It's slightly confusing and there's definitely some crossover. So I am going to start with saying that a hinge exercise, so there's a squat pattern and there's a hinge pattern where most lower body exercises fit into. When you are doing a hinge, meaning you are pushing those hips back or doing like a glute bridge if you were laying on the floor, that is going to work primarily your hamstrings and your glutes. So RDLs, where you are simply hinging at the hip, that is going to work glutes and hamstrings. If you are doing a squat, so we're now recruiting the knee joint as well as the hip joint. So if you're doing a squat, you are recruiting quads, hamstrings, and glutes. Now, in order to recruit your glutes, you need to get low enough. So the range of motion matters hugely. If you are doing a pulse like up here, where you're doing a pulse, mainly just quads. Not a whole lot of hamstring, a little bit. Not a whole lot of glute, a little bit, but predominantly quads. Your quads are going to fatigue quite quickly. If you are doing a pulse pattern or pulse exercise down here, you are working quads and glutes. So depending on the depth of your squat, that will depend how much you recruit glutes. So if you are doing squats in your program, which 100% of you are, focusing on that range of motion is what is going to help you to recruit your glutes. Now, positioning of your feet, meaning a flat foot versus being on your toes, is also going to change which muscle group is predominantly recruited. If you are doing an elevated heel squat, for example, I'll just use these dumbbells, but let's say your heels are elevated and you are doing a squat. You may feel it more in your quads because of the elevation of your heels. Now I'm getting a little, not ahead of myself, but I want to make sure that I am covering absolutely everything. So with your squats, you really want to make sure that you are getting that butt down as far as you possibly can so that you are getting that 90-degree bend, or if you can get a little lower, if you've got that flexibility in your hips, in order to, it stretches that glute, and then you're having to use it to power yourself up. So what I was saying with your heels elevated, because sometimes when people first start doing squats, they can't keep their heels on the ground. It's flexibility issue. It's typically flexibility in the heels and tight calves. That word just about left me. So it's something to obviously continue to work on, is that range of motion and flexibility in your joints. So that's why warm-ups, your mobility, your cool down stretching, incredibly important. I used to be that girl that skipped out on it. Since I have entered my 40s, I have to do mobility. I have to do a really in-depth warm-up, cool down, in order to prep myself for the workout so I get the most out of it. I feel great, my form is great, and of course cool down to ensure that, again, I recover properly and I don't injure myself. Now, you want to do your absolute best to keep your entire foot on the ground when you are doing your squats, because that is going to change which muscle groups you use. Specifically, keeping those heels on the ground, you are going to recruit a lot more of your glutes to power yourself back up to that start position. Now, if you are doing lunges, for example, that's going to work all muscle groups. So I'm just going to specifically talk about reverse lunges, but if you're doing even like a static lunge, the key to your lunges, watch out, Bella Bear. The key to your lunges is to slightly lean forward. That goes for your elevated split squats. If you're doing those in your program, you are leaning forward. That is going to recruit your glutes. If you are straight up, you're going to feel it a lot more in your quads. Same thing goes for your stationary lunge on the floor. If you're without dumbbells, with dumbbells, lean forward. You can see I am never lunging like this because it is all quads. I don't need any more quads. Most of us don't need any more quads. We are very quad dominant because of that forward motion, because we walk forward, and that's what really helps to propel us forward. I'm out of breath, you guys. Same thing with your reverse lunges. If you've got dumbbells here, no dumbbells, whatever that looks like for you, I always have my eyes at a 45-degree angle. I don't have my head up. I'm not protecting my spine. I'm not looking at myself in the mirror when I'm doing my lunges. My head is at a 45-degree angle. Dumbbells are here. I am lunging back. Can you see the angle of my body? Let me take that off. Here's the angle of my body when I am doing my lunges. Now, one more thing with your lunges, you want to pull yourself up. That is the difference. So that when you do step ups, very, very similar to lunges, except you're, of course, pulling yourself up. Same thing with your lunges. So leaning slightly forward, getting that stretch in your glute. You're lunging back. I am pulling with this leg. So I'm not pushing with my rear leg. I'm pulling up with that planted foot in the front. Complete game changer to recruiting your glutes as opposed to just letting your quads take over. Like I just said, same thing for step ups. So instead of pushing with the bottom leg, the leg that is on the step first, you are pulling yourself up. Still gonna work your quad, but you're gonna get way more bang for your buck when you are pulling up, slightly leaning forward. It then forces the largest muscle group in your body, yes, your glutes, most powerful muscle in your body, to activate, to work. Same thing when you're doing like a lateral lunge. You want to shift your weight back as you're doing them, instead of moving forward on your toe, so what I said with your squats initially, hopefully you can see me okay. You want to make sure that your heels are grounded. I'll see a lot of people go on their toe, then puts a lot of strain on the front of the knee, a lot of strain on the quad. We don't necessarily want that. Plant the heel. That's how you recruit your glutes when you're doing your lateral lunges. That foot is completely flat on the ground and I'm shifting back to recruit the glutes. One more thing I'll add is when you're doing deadlifts or even squats and you do a sumo stance, so toes pointed out, fairly wider than your regular squat, you're going to activate inner thighs and a lot more glutes than you would if your toes were straight forward. So that's why I switch things up in your program. You'll see sumo deadlifts, you'll see sumo squats, you'll see regular squats, you'll see stationary lunges, you'll see reverse lunges. As you advance, I will have you do front lunges. Those tend to be a little bit more complex. I probably should have come with a list of exercises, but if there is another one that you're thinking of where you're like, Danielle, like which muscle group should this be working? I'm not feeling it where I think I should be feeling it. Send me a video, you guys. I have clients send me videos of them doing specific exercises. I have zero issues giving you feedback on a specific exercise. I actually encourage it because it can be just a simple tweak of the positioning of your head, positioning of your feet, depth, range of motion, speed that you're doing an exercise. And of course, by doing things properly, you will prevent injuries, for one, and you'll just get results faster because your muscles are just recruited properly. You're focusing on the muscle you should be working, and all is good in the world. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, let me know. Enjoy the rest of your day.